we have these tools and this network and this understanding of ways to move around barriers. We were all learning together.
This kind of resourcefulness will demonstrate how a student can approach all types of design challenges.
This session's class produced some of the best work I've seen in the 5 years that I've taught.
So Penny and Dan, what's it been like teaching online?
Oh, that's a good question. We were on a Zoom with you, planning class and planning the kits, and you said, oh, it can be reinvent the light in your home. Reinvent your space with light at home. Illumination is a really hands-on class with a lot of demos. We're creating DIY kits. So we've curated some of our favorite materials that can manipulate light so that students can transform the quality of light in their own spaces at home.
So our philosophy of teaching about light is really allowing students to discover themselves in a hands-on visual way, how light works, how they see light, and the magical properties of light and materials coming together. So towards that end, we've pre-recorded the special demonstrations up close with cameras, and then we've also given elements of those demonstrations to students that they can discover on their own. Everyone can have a personal experience with their own eyes, but also have a really great view of the demonstration that we're talking about and the principles behind it.
So, lightly sketch your cube. You're supposed to be practicing and doing warm-ups already. So lightly sketch your cube, keeping all your edges going into vanishing points.
The Power of Pleasure is a class about communication, specifically advertising. The final project for my class is a fashion fragrance film. During the spring term, it became clear that we weren't going to be able to film our productions. So we shifted. I asked my students to channel some of their emotions and feelings about what was going on into short films that could be made entirely from stock photography. One of my students, Jessica Balabio, who's very talented, never made a film before.
I kept repeating to myself, okay, treat it as if it was a client. They switched it, fine. Like, I'm gonna execute it and I'm gonna do it at the best of my abilities. It taught us more than what we thought we would learn in the class. It taught us not to stop, and that even in a situation like this, we can make the most out of it with what we have access to.
Just using the free tools that you have available,
Yay!
you know? So it's pretty cool. I'm just so happy that it all is working and we're standing here looking at a model together. That's a really big deal. That's a really big step for ArtCenter and for us. A small step for ArtCenter student, a big step for mankind.
Oh, wow.
One of the things that I think I've always struggled with in my work, I just haven't had to face, is how to document it properly. So what I've gained from presenting these works in a digital format only is that I'm now focusing on how I can see the work differently from different perspectives.
You had us write down on the first week why we were here and what we wanted to accomplish. And one thing that I remember writing on the paper was that I just wanted this whole project to encompass all the skills that I've learned while at ArtCenter. This is the way that I've learned. People show clients how they want their stuff to look if they can't do it in person. So I felt like this was a very real life situation, and it added on to the Photoshop skills that I could learn and creating all these different types of photography from user-generated photography as well.
I've worked in all kinds of interdisciplinary collaborative groups throughout my time at ArtCenter, but never have I found people more motivated to try to just work together toward the common cause than I have through COVID-19 and our response with Shieldmakers. We all just want to do what we can. So that, I think, was one of the fundamental driving forces that was able to help us have the success that we did.